Yeah, Tony, just I'll be watching sports. That's what I'll be doing, but should be a good one. Good concert, very popular performer.
I'm seeing one tonight over in wine country. REO. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Temecula Balloon Festival in wine country. So that's always a pop. But there's three concerts up there. I think it's Night Ranger, John Wayne, and then REO. But I'm more there for the food and wine. But anyway, I digress. We'll get started here with Ramon. Actually, my friend wanted to see that band, but it's okay. I'm going to have fun tonight. Anyway, Giants and Marlins here tonight, 10:15 Eastern time. The pitching matchup looks pretty good when you look at total like that. It looks like a pitching matchup, no doubt. In this one here, as DeSclafani and I believe Sandy Alcantara were the scheduled starters. I'm pretty sure it's still going because we see the total here at 7.5 here in this one here. In this one between those two top-notch starters tonight. So we got the total sits to 7.5 with the Giants favored -113.
Yeah, and this is actually a huge move to the over. Believe it or not, Tony. I mean, it might have been the lowest total of the season. Now I'm trying to think if maybe the bookmakers just weren't off a little bit on a couple of games early that maybe they could have lined at something close to a juiced down 7 or even 6 over. This one did have a couple of popular books open at 6.5, heavily juiced for the over, but still 6.5. Now we're actually looking at 7.5 under 15 because the line has continued to go up slightly, maybe because Sandy, a guy could have his own rock band, hasn't been quite Sandy like. Last start, he kind of got shelled again against the Reds, gave up 6 runs in 7 2/3 innings. Sandy has been struggling on the road. He can't find it right now. The metrics still should cut him some slack, and he should have a good matchup here, but can't argue with those numbers right now, especially his last 6 starts. He has a 6.63 ERA and is 0-4 in those last 6 starts, and Miami's gone 2-6 in those games. Now, Miami does come in on a 4-game winning streak. That is a major league high right now for winning streaks. But for Sandy, until we see it, right? I want to keep cutting in some slack, but there must be something just slightly amiss. Now, 2 starts back, he was absolutely dynamite. He was his only Sandy-like appearance, but those have been few and far between right now so far. I'm looking to go over in this game and follow this move. Wind is blowing out 10 to 12 miles an hour. That's a fact. I mean, it's steady throughout the night. So this will be the major factor for me in this game, just getting those extra runs that I need. My Sandy's gone over in 3 of his last 4 starts. Miami's gone over in 7 of their last 11. The Giants just put up 17 runs against the Phillies. DeSclafani, yeah, he's been good this season, certainly so far as ERA a little bit over 3. But last 2 starts, Giants lost both games. He has a 6 ERA in those 2 starts, just those last 2 starts. But still, Giants come in 3-game winning streak. So these are the two hottest teams in baseball if you go by winning streaks. So tonight I do have a decent matchup for San Francisco. It's hard against Sandy. Actually, they haven't hit him at all, except for Conforto, a couple of home runs against him. Yastrzemski has a home run against him. Miami certainly has their struggles a little bit against DeSclafani as well, but despite their bottom 5 offense, I've got to trust Segura, Cooper. No Jazz tonight. He's got an injury that's going to set him out this series, but I've got to rely on Segura, Cooper, Soler. Soler does have double-digit home runs this year, so maybe De La Cruz also I could throw in there. But last month they played a 3-game series at Miami, won 2 of 3. They all went under. Basing all this tonight, Tony, on a little bit of offense lately from Miami, San Francisco's resurgent offense against the Phillies, and Wade, Estrada, Davis, Haniger. These guys would need a little bit of those guys too. I'll take over though tonight, and I feel contrarian here, certainly, but right now until I see it from Sandy, I've had to flip flop a little bit on him and say, "What's going on here, Sandy?"
Yep, there we go.
Yeah.
Marlins Giants over 7.5 here. We saw it at 7 about maybe an hour ago, and we've seen this one tick up about at half run to 7.5. Again, you got Alcantara struggled on the road. His ERA 6.5 on the road this year. And DeSclafani at home, believe it or not, in 3 starts, 12 earned runs, allowed 26 hits. And of course, an ERA of 4.44. And I know the Giants. It's still it's still a big number with this ERA for the Giants at home. Bullpen.
Oh yeah, for sure. Also, yeah, got to get into these bullpen. Got to get into the bullpen a little bit of the Giants for sure. So the thing about Sandy is still going to get pretty much now. Maybe there'll be maybe a shorter leash on him just because of what's gone on of late. If there is some, if he's in this poor form, but he still grinds it out sometimes, especially if they're in the game. Now, we know that's hard with their offense, certainly, but if I'm going to call for some runs, he was still in there. Talked about that game against the Reds. He gave up those 6 earned runs. He did go 7 2/3 innings in that game. So, you got a guy with a rubber arm out there pretty much that hopefully there's not an injury or anything going on. That's what you think about when you see an elite pitcher absolutely not being able to get into form, a month and a half into the season. So, like I said, he did have one dynamite outing just before last. So that's one thing. But until you see it, I mean, that's a 6.5 ERA on the road after a month and a half. He's what he's riding on is his durability at this point, and like I said, they're not even winning his starts necessarily, and this is a Miami team that's overachieved so far, and I think we're starting to hear some noise from the Giants. We're seeing everything that's going on with the Dodgers just looking terrific, and everyone's starting to get a little long necked already. We're in the middle of May and starting to get away from them, and looks like no end in sight for the Dodgers. I don't want to just keep buttering you up on this. This is just my gut feel, and obviously the frustration that I've continued to show.
Oh yeah,
with
the Dodgers could have been had this year, and the Padres have just underperformed, not hitting the ball very well, just going for that long ball, not really doing much. Interesting note here with DeSclafani here. He had some struggle last 2 starts, but you look at his last 3 starts here. A lot of contact here. Just 8 strikeouts, Ramon, here in his last 23 innings here. Those are past 3 starts.
No, DeSclafani's gotten by a little bit, I think, on a little bit of his durability as well. So, look, the numbers are good early, but how long can they sustain? I think for a pitcher like him, now you do have a little bit of comfort. Like I said, basing a lot of tonight's premise on the weather conditions here, but still can be a comforting ballpark on most occasions in San Francisco. Maybe just not here tonight. And that's the way I'm feeling about it. It's probably going to throw a little bit of volatility here on this side as well. I mean, even past Marlin teams wouldn't necessarily be a dog with an informed Sandy. The line might be reversed in this situation.
Yeah, of course, the run support's always a major concern with Alcantara, right? That's always a big one. They are 28th in run scored Marlins. Here we go. Marlins Giants over 7.5. This one have a start time here, 10:15 Eastern time. Ramon. Let's take a look over at Tony'sPicks.com. Flash that record. Top unit producer over at Tony's Picks. 4,600 units of profit for the year. All document over at Tony'sPicks.com. So if you go to Ramon's handicapper page, go down to pick history, you can verify all those numbers. All right, we got quite a bit on the board today. We're adding a couple of sports here. We know we got the big one from the NBA, the big one from the NHL. 15 on the board for Major League Baseball. We can add the WNBA board up there. Regional action from college baseball is now being documented, as Mindy said. He goes, yeah, we document once the regionals begin, once we get into the postseason. We have done that. We have reached that point. So I'm seeing some plays up there from college baseball as well. What do you have going over at Tony's Picks?
Yeah, tonight, Tony, I'm focusing in on those 2 playoff games, and I have them in a 3-pack with an WNBA season opener. I think certainly exciting enough, warranted to maybe throw them in that 3-pack, so I can get a 3-pack together. We only have two games, and we discussed them on the morning Steam show. So I have a championship Friday 3-pack with the two playoff games: NBA Eastern Conference semifinal, Eastern Conference Finals, and NHL. Maybe you got me going on that. NHL should be a week ahead of them premise, but NHL Eastern Western Conference Finals Game One plus my WNBA opener. Probably my only premium tonight in the WNBA. There are four games. Mindy and I are going over them. We're going to cover them this season. I think she's interested in the league at this point. I think it's captured everybody's attention. It's a league here now without some controversy. We saw the head coach of the world champions suspended to start the season for some conduct unbecoming of league rules regarding picks and some other free agent information. So a little bit of controversy there to open the season in Las Vegas, but they're still the defending champs, and a New York team that's loaded up with three superstars through some deals and some free agent signings to be the top challenger in the East, and they match up tonight. And we talked about with Washington, one of the top teams from last year. So you got a featured matchup. Really, it's a top game on the board in the WNBA, and also a 3-pack in Major League Baseball tonight for $30. Pick up both these packages in my 3-day or 7-day. It's Friday, so get the 3-day package for the weekend. I'll have MMA picks as well. We'll have more WNBA all weekend, Major League Baseball, basketball, and hockey. Playoffs this weekend as well, so you're going to get great value. I'm your everyman capper. I mean, you don't have to be a whale to come in here with me. I love you if you do, but I'm going to get your bankroll started. If you're having any struggles or anything at all, you can ride with me this weekend over at Tony's Picks. Pick up that 3-day, really great price, and you'll be off and rolling by next week, staying on top of the leaderboard with those units. So that's what I'm focusing in on right now, Tony. Those are the 6 plays. Trying to look at something late. I'm bitter about what's going on with we know what I call the Padres, Tony, the worst team money could buy.
Yeah, very frustrating there. No doubt about that. Get on board with Ramon Scott over at Tony's Picks. Flash the record again. 4,600 units of profit for 2023. All document over at Tony'sPicks.com. So get on board with Ramon Scott over at Tony's Picks. Today he's got 3-pack here from Major League Baseball. Friday night 3-pack. Also then in action here with the 3-pack as well, with the NHL, NBA, and WNBA. Remember, Ramon did the WNBA series here. Now we're doing live shows, so they cover it now in the morning now. So you're going to get Ramon's WNBA picks there in the morning. And of course, he'll also offer premiums here on the site. So go ahead and get on board with Ramon Scott over at Tony's Picks. Those 2 3-packs on the board right now. Get on board with it. Or if you prefer, here we are on a Friday. We always talk about this 3-day All Sports Pass. A great time to get on board with Ramon Scott with that 3-day pass. All of Ramon's premium plays for 3 days, including all his NBA, NHL, because we got games scheduled all weekend here from these conference finals, as well as these big 15-game cards here for Major League Baseball, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He's also going to have a UFC card for you on Saturday. He'll sprinkle in some WNBA. He may sprinkle in some college baseball in there as well. Some of these regional action going on. You can get on board there. If he's in action in soccer, he keeps an eye on soccer as well. So we're looking at some of the peripheral sports now as we're kind of willing down this NHL and NBA teams now. We're down to just the conference finals now, so there'll be some more peripheral sports up there for Ramon. So go ahead and get on board. And remember that promo code TonyT at checkout will save 20% off that 3-day All Sports Pass. You can access Ramon's page by clicking the link you see there in the description. Click the All Cappers tab. You land right on his page and go ahead and get signed up. That's $20 off that 3-day pass when you use that promo code TonyT at checkout. And then on Monday you can reassess and go ahead and go longer and get possibly that 1-month pass. But go for the 3-day for this weekend. It's a great value. Lots of action on the board, as well as we said, Ramon will have a UFC card for you and more. So go ahead and get signed up. All right, Ramon, we also put together a Twitter cap. Picks there as well. Tony's Picks Ramon. You want to opt into that because Ramon will have a pick, and it'll also keep you up to date on the service, which he's got going on, what his record is and whatnot. You can find out right there from Ramon. Also, another show in the books from the morning Steam in the archive, and of course you do monitor and moderate the Discord as well.
Yeah, log on to Twitter, follow at Tony's Picks Ramon. More selections there for you. I'll come up with something tonight, maybe a dog in the major leagues. Tough to pull the trigger on a couple of them tonight, but I think you'll feel okay with a few, so we'll take a look there. Mindy and I Had some good consensus picks on the morning steam. Had a pretty good volume here. So, you can pick up those plays too at tonyspicks.com. You don't have time to go back and watch the free pick show every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 6 Pacific, with Mindy Hahn and I. She goes over the handicap, makes the pick. If I agree, I disagree, I might give another pick. So you get plenty of free picks on the show, and you get the picks of all the consensus. Gives you a feel. It does. They don't always agree, right? But there's opinion there and a little bit of stat and everything, and you kind of get a feel for what the public's thinking and what you're thinking too. So the fact that you could become trustworthy of some of the guys in there with some good records, usually let the winning and the results speak for themselves. There's a lot of boasting, a lot of bragging rights in there, I guess, as well. But it all comes out in the end. That's the way we do it here at Tony'sPicks.com with our website and our third-party tracking. So all of our numbers, just check out those handicapper leaderboards, see who's hot before you get signed up. So also, Tony got a few embedded picks today, including one USFL game tomorrow, an early start. So I thought I'd give it to you there on the leaderboard video today, where I talked about some of our hot handicappers. You see the leaderboard there. So talked about the hot streak for a couple of guys and how we're running over at Tony'sPicks.com. Definitely have some guys who are on a pretty good winning streak right now. So you can check out that one, and also had a pick with our sponsored video today. And these are embedded videos here at Tony'sPicks.com. So it should be a big night of action, Tony's. We get back to these NBA, NHL starting their series here out west with Dallas and Vegas. We'll see how this one matches up. Definitely a little bit tired. I mean, even for me, that was a little late last night. I'm not suggesting, Tony. I said on the show, and I know we just have our look. We have a great audience. It's a big audience, Tony. You got nearly 40,000 followers. You get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of views. So it's a platform, man. I just felt like maybe that's an end of an era there. I know that hockey is the bastion of, hey, let's play to the death, but they were falling asleep at the arena. The play was shy away from the neutral zone, and it wasn't the greatest thing. And I told Mindy, I said, what the most pleasant thing about the game was? Is one of those streams that I found for the game, because, I like to use those, but it had no announcers. And I was like, wow, this really takes me back a little bit to, the slush of the ice and the checking of the boards and the crowd and the chanting. And Anderson was on fire, and they were chanting, Freddie. Too bad he lost. I mean, it was terrible, but he had one of the best playoff performances ever I've seen, considering the circumstances. Even though he gave up 3 goals, Anderson was great. So I just felt like maybe the solution would be maybe after one of the overtime to go to a 4-on-4 or something. It is a little bit painful. Like I told her, I said, you know what, when you're 9, 10, 11, 12 years old and you're sitting on the floor and you're supposed to go to school the next day, you want the game to go to 23 innings. That's just not the way it happens anymore. And will hockey have to make it? Or will
it won't be hockey. These situations don't come to hockey. It comes down to the TV partners, what they feel. At the end of the day, it's going to be the TV partners making the decision. And then we'll see how that rolls. I mean, we'll see. I mean, it doesn't happen very often. Maybe once a year you'll have a wild game. You'll have your overtime, maybe your double overtimes. Usually, I like to see the percentage of games, how many games are decided in the first overtime, second overtime, third, and whatnot. This was the 5th longest game, and it was 6th longest game in the history of the league. The league's been around since for almost 80 years now. That only happens once every 20 years we have a game like this. I don't see a reason to change anything. I mean, you're going to get a goal in one, or usually in the first or second overtime, right? You get something like this 6 times in the last 80 years. Once every 15 years it happens. I see no problem with it. That's how I look at it.
Fine by me. I just look at it as if it's a once in a lifetime experience. You can always say, "Hey, I was at that game." Unfortunately for Panthers fans, it won't be a great memory necessarily. They lost, so.
And also it gives hockey. It gets hockey in the news. it gets hockey more publicity when they played 6 overtime. Especially with the social media, people on Twitter, everyone's going to watch it now, right? The ratings are going to increase when you have a game like this, right? I don't, and people are up late anyway. we keep the people who are looking for the younger audience. They don't go to bed till 2 in the morning anyway, so we don't even have to worry about that. You're going to turn on more viewers when you have games like this. So I see you keep it, because then the word gets out on Twitter, and you get all these 20s and 30-year-olds out there. They're up till 2 in the morning, and they're going to they'll watch this, and because it's got their, hey, there's a 6 overtime game. We got to check this out. And maybe they get turned on to the sport, So this is not for the over 40 crowd. These decisions are made for the 20s and 30s out there, and they're up till 2 in the morning. All right, Ramon. Guys, check out Ramon's stuff over on the site. At the embedded video, you'll see the sponsored video pick. And, of course, if you click the premium picks page, you'll get the leaderboard video from Ramon. So more content there from Ramon Scott over at Tony'sPicks.com. And, of course, the Twitter account, Tony's Picks Ramon. Make that follow. All right, Ramon, as always, great having you show. Team that success. Have a great weekend. We'll catch up with you again on Monday.
Thanks a lot, brother. Thanks a lot.
You got Ramon Scott.